that happens, right? We have all these plans at the beginning of the school year and then they get changed. Hi, I'm Aileen. Welcome back to my channel. This is Homeschool with the Clarks. If you are new here, I am a homeschool mom of 4 kiddos, currently ages 13, 11, 9, and 4. Today, I wanted to just do like a check-in video and let you guys know how our school year is going so far. I did not post any videos for the entire month of September because we started school and homeschooling 4 kids is an adjustment. So I kind of struggled to find time to record these videos. So here I am today. I'm going to try and record a few, starting with our homeschool updates for October. We are about a month and a half into our school year, and this year I'm homeschooling kids my oldest is in 8th, and then 6th, 3rd, and then TK. If you look at all the videos I posted over the summer, I shared all of the different plans and curriculums and all the things that I had chosen for the school year. So I thought I'd give you an update specifically on that, and then also talk about our schedule and let you know how that's going. Let's start with the schedule. Things had to change a little bit this year because my 3rd grader joined a competitive gymnastics team. She is in like an intro, like lower level. So she's only working out 4 hours a week. It was 6 hours a week and they cut it back, which is actually helpful because she's adjusting. But because of that, she's working out during the day. That kind of messed with the schedule that we've always kept, which is the first half of the day we spend on family style subjects. We call it morning time. And then after, usually around lunchtime, is when we break up and do our independent studies like math and English. But she is going to gymnastics twice a week at 10 a.m. And so that really kind of threw a wrench in my schedule. It's okay though. I can be flexible. I'm so happy for her. It's her dream and that's what she wants to do. And we're trying it. Because of that, I had to get a little bit more strict with the schedule. It used to be that we would start school at like 9, maybe 9:30, sometimes 10 o'clock. But now because she has to be at the gym at 10, really like 10 minutes early, like we try and get there by 9:45, 9:50. We try and get in the car at 9:30 or try and end off school at 9:30 so we can get in the car by like 9:35. So I am starting morning time. My goal has been, now I haven't been totally successful, but the goal is everyone is in the front room at 8 a.m. to start morning time. And that might sound crazy to some of you guys, like I'm trying to make it public school, but we are all morning people. Everyone has been awake at least like since 7:15. Sometimes 2 of my kids sleep till 7:30, but they are awake by 7:30. And I always have breakfast ready and then we just get started. And because morning time is a slower start to the day, it's okay if they're just kind of like still waking up, rubbing the sleep out of their eyes and everything. I make sure they're fed. That's the goal. And then we start. Are we starting at 8 a.m. every day? No, but we are starting pretty close to it, pretty darn close. So that's, it's actually been working really well. Monday, Wednesday, sometimes Friday is when we get to science because history is every day now because we're using a different curriculum this year and it's every day has reading. I'll get into that, what our history, how that's going and how that's working, but it's like history is every day for the reading assignments that I read aloud to my kids. We're doing that every day, but then there's not enough time if we're ending by 9:30 to also do science. And so I can only get to science like Monday, Wednesday, sometimes Friday. Sometimes we go on a field trip on Wednesday. Sometimes we have appointments on Monday. So I'm getting to it. We are successfully getting to it, but it's been more of I have less flexibility in that now. Other thing is 8th grade is taking a long time and sometimes 6th grade too. And there have been days where my kid's not done until 4 with his work, my 8th grader. But I have to remember that a couple of things. One, my kid takes lots and lots of breaks, and that's the beauty of homeschool is he wants to take lots and lots of breaks. It's his personality. He gets distracted easily and we're working through being independent. So there's that piece. And then the other piece that I personally have to remember and not compare myself to these like charts online where it's like, you should be completely done with school, even an 8th grader in 3 hours, yada, yada. And that's including our morning time, right? Is that we're more academically focused. And so I am giving him a heavier load. And so I have to remember that that's part of it. But Yeah, he's doing school sometimes until 4. And then there's other days where he's really motivated and he's done by noon or 1, depending on what time we had morning time. So that's been an adjustment because it is taking him longer this year because I added in novel studies and they're pretty hefty this year. And so, he's having to do it and I'm sticking to my guns and I'm making him finish the work. And I think that that's a challenge for him and it's a challenge for me as his mom, but it's good. He needs to be challenged. He needs to be pushed and I need to not be a pushover. So that's our big schedule change. We're still doing morning time in the morning and then the rest of the activities and the rest of the schoolwork, like afternoon or mid-morning, depending on the day. It's just start time and filling in with the gymnastics days. Now I'm going to give you an update on all the things. So get your coffee and let's dig into it. I'm going to start with the morning time subject. For history this year, we're using My Father's World. This is our first time ever using My Father's World. We're doing Exploration to 1850, which is like an early modern history study. But they also incorporate things like Bible, music, science. We're not using all of that. I really was drawn to it because of the history. We did medieval history last year using Story of the World, and I knew I wanted to continue with Story of the World, but I also wanted to make sure I was including enough US history, and I was really struggling to figure out what to do. And then My Father's World popped up on my YouTube feed and it was like, oh, that's the answer. And it has been the answer. I love it because it's like we're reading the Story of the World, and instead of reading an entire chapter of Story of the World, it's like just the sections. So it's breaking it up more throughout the day, and it's lining it up with a read aloud that has totally aligned with where we are in history. It's aligned with some US history books that I'm reading aloud to my kids. So it's been really, really great. We're really enjoying it. We're not doing the science because I already had something I was using for science. And also even though their history is K through 8 or 3rd through 8 or something like that, I don't know. The science, once they're in middle school, they're supposed to do a separate science. They don't do it as a family, which I understand why. But for us, we found something that's working for us that does include my middle schoolers. So we're not using it for the science. We do have Bible included. We have a slightly older version of Exploration to 1850. And this one is memorizing the book of James and then using this Bible study, Boy, Have I Got Problems. We're not using the Bible study. We are doing the memorization of the book of James. All of my kids were doing it, excluding my 4-year-old. She's not being held to the same expectation. My middle girls that are in 3rd and 6th ended up joining Adventure Club through our church, which is kind of like Awana, and they have a whole bunch of memory verses that they have to memorize. And so that was overwhelming for my 3rd grader especially. And so I was like, you know what? Let's have just the 8th grader memorize James, and then you guys focus on your memory verses for Adventure Club. The middle girls did memorize some of James, but now we've moved on, changed that plan, which that happens, right? We have all these plans at the beginning of the school year, and then they get changed. The other thing about My Father's World, I do want to mention, so they're pricey. We bought ours secondhand. And then but it did not come with the student sheets. And so I purchased the student sheets from My Father's World, but they're $50 a kid just for the student sheets. And they're okay, but I'm actually realizing that they're not that necessary, especially because I have the activities book for Story of the World, and that includes map work and comprehension questions and all kinds of things. And we usually just do narration and map work, and every once in a while we might do an activity. And so I'm using the map work from Story of the World. They don't really have a ton of map work in My Father's World. They have these narration pages where it's just a picture of, let's say whatever colony we're learning about or the person in history. It's got a picture and then it's got lines on the sheets, but they have a separate history notebook that they're writing in. So a couple times I've had them cut those out and put them in, but it's not super necessary. We are using the timeline pieces, and in the My Father's World Exploration to 1850 group, someone had posted extra timeline pieces that she made. And so we're using those also. So we are definitely using the timeline pieces, but I think in the future, I may not go out of my way to purchase the student sheets because I think I could make do without them, but I love the like reading plan that they have in place. It's been great. For science, I'm figuring out this balance for a couple reasons. One, because of the schedule, and so I can't just like, hey, today's going really well, let's add in science, which is what I maybe have been doing in the past. I have to be more rigid with when I schedule it in. And I'm also like trying to do 2 different sciences. And you know, you guys, whoever watched those videos probably thought I was a crazy person. And yeah, maybe I am. Maybe I'm doing too much. We are using the physics type curriculum from The Good and the Beautiful. I think it's called like Motion and Simple Machines, which is a unit study. I love their unit studies for science. Typically we would do like 2 in a semester, but because I'm adding in a second science, we're only planning to do this for the first semester. And that's been really great. My kids love it. Complaints there. They have a separate student journal for middle school where he has to do like an extension activity. It's for 7th and 8th. So my 6th grader doesn't do it, but my 8th grader does it. And that's been great. I think we're learning a lot and we're having fun together as a family, which is what I want. And it's just that exposure to the science concepts for me. The other one we're using is Treehouse Schoolhouse Nature Study. I am trying out adding in their intermediate study, which we've never used before. We've used their basic one twice in past school years and loved it, but it is very basic. It's definitely more early elementary. And so now I'm trying the intermediate, and I don't know. I'm not as jazzed about it as I was. We're still using it. We're still enjoying it. I guess I thought it would be more sciencey. It's definitely just nature. So, but it's fine because we're also doing another science. So it is what it is. We're still using it. We're still going with it, but it's been, I don't know. I'm not as excited about it now. Now that we're like implementing it, it's like not all of the pieces connect as smoothly as I thought they would. For example, this last week we did fungi, and when we've done fungi in the past, it's like we learn about mushrooms, we label the parts of a mushroom for the beginner level. And, you know, maybe you try and go and find some mushrooms. We're in Northern California. It's still been very, very hot here. So we don't have any mushrooms really out. And then it's like you do the hand rhyme, which was I'm a Little Mushroom, I think, which we did do still for my little one, and my girls joined in. And then it's like got poetry and stuff. We're not really doing the poetry and picture study this time. But then for the older kids, it was like trying to tie in like yeast as a fungi. And so like baking with yeast and stuff, which I did intend to do, but now that we're like doing all the things, it's really hard to add in the like, let's go bake something and spend 2 hours in the kitchen when I'm also very academically driven with my kids. And we also have like a ton of like extracurricular stuff going on. And it didn't line up as well as I thought it would, because yes, yeast is a fungi, right? But like the whole focus was on mushrooms. So that kind of thing is not aligning as well. She does have links to videos. Most of them are longer, like documentary style. My kids absolutely love those. We watch at least one of those every week. So that's been a hit. But the actual like science implementation part of it, I'm still figuring it out. So if you are using it and you have tips, please, please, please tell me in the comments because I want to hear all about it. Okay, moving on. So we've talked about history and science. I talked a little bit about Bible, but we are also doing a Bible study, which I don't know why I didn't mention this in any of my other videos, but we're trying a Bible study from Not Consumed. It is on prayer, and I am really enjoying it. I think my kids are really enjoying it. It is time consuming. Like it's like 2 pages, but it's like, read this verse and then write what this means. And then read this verse and write what this means. And you're supposed to all like separate and work separately on it and then come back together and discuss. And so like, it just takes a really long time. And so we're not doing it every day, which I think is how it's intended to be. And I've tried a couple different things. I've tried just doing 1 page instead of both pages. We've done that a couple times. We have done it together as a family. We will take turns finding the stuff in the Bible and reading aloud. But the challenge is the parent one is really just your own Bible study, and it's not exactly the same as the kid one. And so I'll have to be like, wait, does yours say to read this verse or is it that verse? Because it'll have me read more than it's having them read. But then my teen is reading the same stuff that I'm reading, but they don't suggest you reading it together like that with your teens because they're supposed to go do it separately and come to their own conclusion. So I'm enjoying it. I don't know if we'll do another one. It might be something that I reserve to just do in the summertime when we don't have other stuff going on, because it's so time consuming and it's not really flowing with our normal morning time flow. I did also purchase a Bible study. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but it's from Treehouse Schoolhouse, who does the nature study. I did buy her Bible study with the intentions of starting it this year, but I thought we would finish the prayer over the summer and we did not finish it. It's way more time consuming than I thought it would be. So it's like taking us months to finish versus a month, which is what I thought it would take. So I have that one, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, is this too babyish? I would love to have a Bible study where we just read through one of the Gospels together as a family. So if you have a suggestion for that, please, please, please tell me, because I'm still figuring it out. Okay. But we will continue the prayer Bible study until we're done with it. I just don't know if we're going to do Not Consumed again. Art, we tried something new this year, and I did not mention this on my other videos. I kind of got like reeled in from a Facebook ad that was like, it's closing tonight, come try this art thing. It's like membership based where you pay every month and you have access to all these art videos. It's called Masterpiece Society. My kids absolutely love their videos and we're actually using them. And here's why, because I've done art memberships before in the past, but the ones that I've used in the past, it's like they might occasionally have a video, but usually it's like a PDF that I print off with step-by-step instructions. And I am not an art teacher. I am right next to them, learning along with them. And so me having to like teach it is like overwhelming for me, just because it's not, I enjoy doing art, but I'm not an artist and I don't know all of the techniques and all the things. And so I really like Masterpiece Society because they're doing it on the video and she's giving tips and tricks and yada, yada. And they're really, really, really good. They have a ton of videos so you can pick and choose. But we're going to have to cancel them because they are not able to provide receipts for us. And I homeschool through a charter school and they will reimburse me for educational activities like this, but they're really strict. It has to be a receipt from the company and I'm only getting a receipt from PayPal. And I guess Masterpiece Society is not able to generate a receipt for us. Every month they said they will do it one time for me, but that they can't do it regularly. So I don't know. I don't know if their system that they use must not automatically generate them. I was kind of surprised because when I purchased it originally, I got a receipt. And so it was in the email, it was just like, here, you bought this for this month and it cost this much and you paid via PayPal. And that's all I need. And it came from their email. And so that's acceptable, but they're not able to provide that. And I'm like super bummed about it because I really liked Masterpiece Society, but we just don't have it in the budget to be able to pay for it every month without being reimbursed. So check them out. I do recommend them. But sadly, we're not gonna be able to continue. And I haven't told my girls yet. They're gonna be really sad, but we enjoyed it while it lasted. For music, we're using Beautiful Feet's music appreciation study. They came out with that in the spring and we love it so far. I had shared, when I had done a flip through of it, I shared that I thought maybe we were gonna like start, because it's like in chronological order. Maybe we were going to start in modern since we're in modern history, but I ended up just starting from the beginning. It's a 2-year study because really the ancient music that it goes over, it's only like 3 or 4 lessons. And then it moves on to like, it continues. Like most of the time is spent on modern anyway. It's been so good. My kids actually really, really like the ancient music that we've been listening to. And they're asking to listen to it. We've only done 3 lessons. So really it's been like every other week that we've gotten to it, but that's okay. We're doing it. We're getting to it. And we really enjoy it. We like Beautiful Feet. So not a surprise that we are enjoying this study. So definitely check that out if you're looking for a music curriculum that you can do with all of your kids. That is it for our family studies. Now let me just dig into what we're doing for each kid. Again, first time using My Father's World, I purchased the history and then I kind of got sucked into buying their TK, which is Voyage of Discovery. She is enjoying it. There's a lot of projects and stuff. We've not done all of them. We've done some of them and that's okay, but it's going very, very slow. I like the Bible. It's got this preschool Bible that we're reading through. Like, I guess we're going to read it like cover to cover throughout the year. And there's some projects that we've done in it. Like we did this creation project that was really cool and she absolutely loved it and asked me to reread the story of creation to her like 10 times. But it's like every week is a letter, and then numbers, I want to say, are like every other week. So it's like we're on number 3, and it's like, or no, number 2 or number 3. It's not very far in. And it was like, cut out this number 2 and trace the number 2 and now go find 2 things around the house. And that is like, she's so far beyond that. I think it's really great. She's just, I didn't realize how much she had like absorbed. She's like a little sponge just sitting around, even though we did very little preschool last year, just sitting around and listening to everyone else and her sisters teaching her things and stuff like that. So she's really, I think she's just about ready for, she is ready for a kindergarten math curriculum, and she's just about ready to start reading lessons. That's really where she's at. This is just like letter of the week and doing some numbers and some shapes and colors. And she knows all that stuff and she's not complaining about it, but she is asking for more. Like when I do sequential spelling with my 6th grader, we do it on whiteboards and she's like, Mom, write some words so I can copy them. And she wants to write the words. She wants to know what things say. She's reaching. And so, and she'll be 5 next month. So I ordered Math with Confidence Kindergarten, and I already have Logic of English. I just need to order the workbook. And I ended up ordering Handwriting Without Tears, their TK, which that one, the pre-K Handwriting Without Tears, I think that one's good. We just started it, but I'm thinking that we're going to start Logic of English Foundations A and Math with Confidence Kindergarten in January. And we will just do like half of it or even a third of it this year, and probably won't get to both things every day, just kind of when she's interested. And that is actually what I did with my 3rd grader. She also did a year of TK because her birthday is the end of September. And so kindergarten, the cutoff in California is like the 2nd. And we follow those rules because we homeschool with the charter. And that was actually really, really helpful for her because she's always been kind of like ahead a little bit versus like a little bit behind. And I have other kids who struggle. So I think we're going to do that. She seems like she's ready. We'll continue doing the Bible part with Voyage of Discovery. And I need to decide what I'm going to do with the letters. It may be that we do 2 letters a week so we can just like finish the alphabet. We did also do Letter of the Week with All About Reading, pre-reading over the summer. And towards the end of last year, we finished uppercase A through Z. And now I'm matching lowercase A through Z up with Voyage of Discovery. So we're also doing, it's like an extra little letter worksheet page. And then there's like some literacy activities that you do with it. So we may try and double up and do 2 letters a week, which is totally doable, just to like wrap up that part of it. But that's what I'm thinking. For now, we're using it, but it's really slow for her because she's just a little beyond that. My 3rd grader, we switched a lot for her. We basically switched everything. Yeah, we switched everything. So, which some of this I shared. So Moving Beyond the Page is what she's using for English, which is ages 7 to 9 is the one that she's doing. I think reading level wise, she could have done the 8 to 10, but I knew she was going to really enjoy the 7 to 9 books. And so that's the one we're doing. And for that Moving Beyond the Page, she's doing pretty much everything, almost all of the worksheets. Occasionally, if we have a busy day, she might not do all of them, but she's pretty much doing all of them. Which I've talked about this in the past. My thing with Moving Beyond the Page is don't do all of them because there's a ton, but she is my schooly kid. And she's like, yes, I will do this grammar workbook page and answer these questions for you and do the journal page. And she's just a schooly kid. And so she's doing that. We're doing the questions verbally. I'm not having her write the answers. And then for spelling, we're using Evan Moore 3rd grade spelling. That's going well. She really likes doing the spelling test at the end of the week. She's very motivated to get an A or 100% on that. So we're doing that. And then for math, we were supposed to use The Good and the Beautiful 3rd grade math. We had started it last year. There were tons of tears. But my plan, we took a break, and then my plan was to keep on keeping on. And on the Sunday before the first day of school, she was like, Mom, can we please not use this math? It made me cry. So now we're using Math with Confidence, which is why I ended up ordering Math with Confidence for my kindergartner. 3rd grade, we are on unit 3. And so far, so good. It's very much review for her right now, but it has introduced some multiplication. It's extremely teacher intensive. You have, like, she cannot read the lesson on her own because the lesson instructions are in the teacher manual, which I had watched some reviews. Most people love Math with Confidence, but I remember watching a very candid review from a YouTuber that I really like. And she was like, it was too much for us. We quit. Like, these, I'm not into these games kind of thing. And then I've talked to some moms in real life and they've said, like, we just skip the games because it's too much. Because there's a lot of games where it's like you have to get the deck of cards out and then you have to take the kings, queens, jacks, tens out, and then you're going to play this game to like practice these math facts. I think the games are fantastic. I think if your kid already knows the math facts and they don't care about the games, you can absolutely skip them. My kid wants to do the games. She knows the math facts, but she wants to do the game. She loves the games. They bring her joy. And she's my middle child and she's very easygoing. And sometimes she doesn't get as much attention as she probably should. I mean, I give her attention, but you know, like there's other kids who are like being difficult, and so then they get my attention, and she's just so sweet and quiet that like I have to be really intentional with her attention. So you better believe I'm sitting there and playing those games with her and giving her my time, and it's been really great and she loves them. We're still in review though, so we haven't gotten to anything that's really, really hard for her, so I can't give like a full review on it yet, full thoughts, but for now I like it. My only real complaint is that with The Good and the Beautiful, you get a math box with all the manipulatives in it. And this one, it's like you have to collect the things, which wasn't that big of a deal. But now it's like it's a lot of things versus in a box. So I do miss that. My 6th grader also had a lot of changes. She used The Good and the Beautiful last year. This year, we're doing Saxon Math with Nicole the Math Lady, which I already knew I liked because I was using it for my last year 7th grader, now 8th grader. And she was hesitant at first, but she loves it. She told me her favorite subject is now math. So it's good. It's instantaneous grading, which she needs because we had times last year where she would do a whole page of math and then I would go to grade it and she did the whole page wrong. And that's like, oh, right? Like that's such a bummer for a kid to realize they were doing all of it wrong and they weren't understanding correctly. It's such a bummer. It's so like just degrading for them. And so she needed something different. And this one, it's like, we have this rule. If you get the same problem wrong twice, you have to call me because it's like you have to enter the problem as you go. You enter your answer and then it tells you if you got it wrong. And then she calls me because it's like, I have it set up. They can try as many times as they want because I just want them to be successful. Right. And so she will just keep trying. But she has to come and get me. Sometimes she switches a number or something and she'll figure it out the second time. But other times it's like, oh, wait, let's reread this. Let's figure out what they're trying to get us to do, you know, and then I'll come and help her. And she's been a lot more successful with the math. So I really like it. She's happy with it. She's not doing the tests this year. I didn't have my 7th grader do tests last year, so I'm not having her do the tests, but she's doing all the other work. We are having her do every other problem, which is a setting in Nicole the Math Lady. You can have it like alternate problems because Saxon has a lot of problems. So she's doing that. It's time consuming. She probably spends 45 minutes to an hour doing math every day, but she's happy with it and I'm happy with it and she's learning. So it's great. For English, we're using 2 different things plus a spelling curriculum. So spelling, we're using sequential spelling. And that's going good. And then we are using Moving Beyond the Page. I'm trying to remember, is it I think it's 10 to 12 for their 6th grade. She's read 2 books so far, The Wanderer and The People of Sparks. She's really enjoyed it so far. We are not doing all the things. I'm having her, when we first started the school year, I was just assigning like one, I would assign the reading. You would do the reading every day. You would answer the questions, most of the time writing the questions in. And then I was only assigning like 1 worksheet a week for her and my 8th grader. And then I realized that that was a little too little. And so now I'm picking 1 activity for each lesson. So usually it's like the literary analysis piece I will have her do, but not the grammar or writing because we're using a separate grammar and writing program. So she's doing that. It is challenging her more to have to do a worksheet every day, but I think it's good. It's introducing those things to her. She does really enjoy it. She's really liking Moving Beyond the Page so far. She has liked the books so far. I've been happy with them. I have heard that there's some questionable books with Moving Beyond the Page, actually in the 8 to 10-year-old range. And so now I feel like I need to I don't think I can pre-read all the books, but I need to do some research on the rest of the books just to make sure I want her to read all of them. And there's no content in there that we don't want her to read. We like it so far. We're doing EIW level 6. She did EIW level 5, just the writing composition portion last year for the second semester, and made huge growth in her writing ability and confidence in writing. So that's been amazing. So I wasn't sure this year. Some people will alternate and do like a section of grammar and then a section of composition and a section of grammar and a section of composition. And I was thinking that I was going to do that with my kids, but we're not doing that. We're just doing the grammar for now, which is really good for her because really she hasn't done any grammar at all. And she's in 6th grade because we were so focused on learning to read and then so focused on spelling and just reading novels the last couple years that we didn't get to those pieces. So this has been all new to her. It's been challenging. She's had some challenging days where she hasn't understood, but it's so quick and easy. I just sit with her and we do it together if she's stuck, and it's like 10 minutes. It's so fast. The writing takes a little bit longer when you get to that section, but it is just really, really quick little chunks every day. So we're really happy with that. And I'm glad that we actually ended up doing it that way because she's benefiting from all of that grammar at once. And I am having her write in other places, like for history, we do written narration. So I'm not worried about her not writing right now. Last one, let's talk about 8th grade. Hopefully you're still with me. And if you are still with me, I'd love if you could give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. 8th grade. We're using Saxon 8-7 with Nicole the math lady. We used 7-6 last year, right? Yeah, 7-6. This year we're using 8-7. He is doing amazing in math. He's getting A's based on the scores, getting A's on the tests. We are having him do the test this year. And he's just really, his confidence in math has gone up so much. He does have to do, all of my kids have to do like map testing twice a year for their charter school, and he's in the green for math, which is like amazing. And I think it's because of the Saxon and Nicole the math lady. He's just improved a lot. We're sticking with it. It's working for us. And then for English, he's also doing Moving Beyond the Page and EIW. Kind of the same thing. I had started out with just like one worksheet a week and then doing an EIW section each day, which is like lesson 10, day 1. And it's like 1 or 2 pages, sometimes 3 pages. It's kind of weird the way they have it broken up because some days are like really short, but they're all really short anyway. We did start with just the grammar for him as well, but 8th grade, they do have them writing paragraphs during the grammar section. So that's been good. I'm glad I didn't break it up. Most of it has been review because he's been doing Fix-It grammar the last few years, but some of it he actually didn't know. And that's been really good to go over that stuff and for him to learn those pieces. We are using the EIW grading service, and that has been good so far. It's like a live person. You submit your grading and you're assigned to a person. I don't know the person's name or anything. It just comes back, but you're like have the same person all year from my understanding. And it's not for every lesson, but the ones he's submitted, he's gotten A's from them. So that's good. I'm interested to see how it will go once we get to the composition and what kind of feedback he'll get. But we've been happy with that. I've been happy with the feedback that they've been sending us, and they've been quick, like within like 2 or 3 days, they respond and send us the grade, which I was unsure about because it says there's like a disclaimer that it could take up to 10 days. And I was like, well, wait a minute, what if we submit this and then now we're ready to submit something else and we still haven't gotten graded for this one? But it ended up being a no issue. It's been totally fine. And I'm happy with it. It's really easy to submit. He just copies and pastes his work into their little grading portal. That's our school year so far. It's been really busy with 4 kids, and they all have probably a little bit overscheduled right now. They all kind of have extracurricular stuff they're doing. And so that's been keeping me really busy, but I'm hoping to get back on here and share more videos more often. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.